What's up, guys? I'm LQ. This is the LQ Review. Thank you so much for joining me right here at my YouTube channel. This is where we talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff that we love to talk about. Movies, video games, comic books, and TV shows. And right now that the Snyder Cut is officially out, I would like to rank all of the DCEU movies from least to best liked. Now, this will include Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, the Joss Whedon cut of Justice League. This will include Aquaman, Shazam, Birds of Prey, and Wonder Woman 1984, and then the Snyder cut of Justice League. So there are 10 movies that we'll be ranking from worst to best. All right, so let's start with number 10. Number 10 is the Joss Whedon cut of Justice League. I never need to watch it again, honestly. I probably never will watch it again. It's an abortion of a film. It should never have existed, and every decision that Joss Whedon made the movie worse. I don't know why anybody would ever watch it again. So it's number 10. It's just horrible. All right, here we go. Number 9. Number 9 is Wonder Woman 1984. Now, like a lot of people, I don't hate this movie. There's stuff in this movie that I like enough. I think that some of the action sequences are pretty cool. I still love Gal Gadot's take on Wonder Woman. I think that she understands the character and does a great job of portraying the character. And I still love the love story between her and Steve Trevor. That being said, there was so much that did not work in this. The villains did not work. The plot did not work. The resolution did not work. I mean, there were so many problems that I had with this movie that it really kept it from making sense for me. And that's too bad because I loved the first movie so much. And then it was like Patty Jenkins stopped understanding Wonder Woman and she started, I don't know what it was. I have a hard time believing that after making the first movie that she doesn't understand Wonder Woman. It just seems like she got in her own way. I think Patty Jenkins got in her own way right here. So, yeah, Wonder Woman 1984 is number 9 for me. Not a good movie. Not a good movie. All right, number 8. Number 8 is Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad was a hot mess, but I still had a lot of fun with it. Now, it's a bad movie. Don't get me wrong. I think Suicide Squad is a bad movie, but I will still watch Suicide Squad from time to time, just because I think that there's some really fun elements that kind of outweigh the bad for me. Like I said, objectively bad movie, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it, and I will even enjoy it from time to time. I love the characterizations. I think that they did Harley Quinn great. Margot Robbie is fantastic as Harley Quinn. I love this iteration of Deadshot. I love this iteration of Captain Boomerang. There was a lot of stuff that they really understood. And while there was a lot of stuff that David Ayer really understood in this version of Suicide Squad, there was also a lot of stuff that he clearly didn't understand. Story structure being one of them. It doesn't work as a narrative. There's some cool character designs, some really cool character decisions. A lot of the action sequences are a lot of fun, and let's face it, let's be real, a lot of the action sequences really are a good time. But the story was a mess. And it didn't make any sense. And because of that, you just can't really say this is a good movie. Definitely good stuff in this movie, and I find it fun to watch this movie from time to time. But too much of it was not good for me to say that this was a good movie. So Suicide Squad is number 8. All right. From number 7 up, the rest of them I consider good movies. So, as you can see, I consider 7 out of 10 DCEU movies to be good movies. So, let's start with number 7. Number 7 was Aquaman. I know, a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this one. A lot of people think Aquaman is the best movie in the DCEU. For me, it was a little bit too silly. There was a lot of great stuff in this, to be sure. A lot of great stuff in this. That Black Manta was a very intriguing character. Orm, the whole basically Throne of Atlantis storyline that they told from, I mean, that was a big storyline in the New 52. That whole Throne of Atlantis storyline that they told in the New 52 is basically retold here, and they hit it. They nailed it. They hit all the important pieces of that storyline. In a lot of ways, this was the Aquaman story that I wanted to see. The problem was that it was bogged down by silliness, bogged down by a special effects extravaganza that, quite frankly, didn't interest me that much. You had these octopus playing the drums. You had all sorts of just silly underwater shenanigans that were going on that made me think to myself, there's no way that Man of Steel took place in the same world as this. Because the whole world that they inhabit is different. So, yeah, I liked Aquaman. And I had a good time with it. I really did. And I will watch it again. You know, I own the Blu-ray. I've got the digital copy. I will watch Aquaman plenty more times, I'm sure. But when I'm ranking it against the other DCEU movies, I just can't rank it as high because it feels so different and so set apart from the other stuff, and not for good reasons. It feels so different and so set apart from the other stuff because of its silliness and because of its very what's the word I'm looking for, almost childish approach to the undersea kingdom of Atlantis. It was very just, I don't know. I can't put my finger on how I want to describe it, but it did not feel like grown up, like this world that would be created by a grown up. It felt like a world that would be created by a kid. And because of that, it felt very silly and very removed from everything else that we'd already seen in the DCEU. I liked it. I liked the movie. But it was a little bit too much for me. It was a little bit too much. So, Aquaman is number 7. Number 6 is Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. Don't get me wrong. I love the Harley Quinn character. Margot Robbie embodies Harley Quinn. And this is also a good movie. It has some serious problems. This, like Aquaman, felt very removed from the other movies. This one almost felt like it was trying to be a Tarantino movie set in the DCEU. Kathy Yan, while she's a good director, I don't think that she was giving a lot of thought into the rest of the DC universe. And that's one of my biggest gripes with the DCEU, is there's no attempt at cohesion. It's all very standalone in terms of their stories, and standalone even in the feel of their stories. And that's what we got with Birds of Prey. It was very standalone. It didn't make any sense in the context with what happened in Suicide Squad and what had been going on in the universe as a whole. And it felt removed because of its silliness. You know, you talk about Man of Steel, you talk about Batman vs. Superman, talk about Wonder Woman. These are very, very, I don't know if grounded's the right word, but they're gritty, they're dark. They've got this certain sense of gravitas to them. And there's no gravitas to Birds of Prey. You know, it's very cartoonish. It's a cartoon brought to life, and nothing embodies that cartoon being brought to life more than the villain played by Ewan McGregor, Black Mask. It's all very cartoonish and almost like the Disney animated series, or the Batman animated series brought to life with an R rating stamped on it. And so that being said, there's good stuff here, but it felt like it was made for a different audience than Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman was made for. So I enjoyed it. It was a good movie, but I had my problems. So Birds of Prey is number 6. All right, on to number 5. Number 5 is Shazam. Shazam is great. I really don't have many problems with Shazam. It was fun. It was big in a superhero story. It was funny. It was action-packed. It had the moments of danger and peril, but it also had the moments of superhero wonder. Probably the only thing that sets it apart from me and what makes me rank it at number 5 is the fact that, like the other movies that came after Justice League, being Aquaman, being Birds of Prey, being Wonder Woman 1984, this one does not feel like it's a part of the greater cinematic universe. Even though it makes references to the greater cinematic universe, which, Wonder Woman 1984 and, would not do, and Aquaman did to some degree. This one did feel very much set apart. And if the DC universe is going to be successful moving forward, it has to feel like a universe. It has to feel cohesive. That's one thing that Marvel does great. And quite frankly, I had a hard time believing that Shazam took place in the same world as Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman. That's my biggest problem with it. Other than that, Shazam was a fun, excellent superhero story. It just did not feel like it was part of the greater universe. And that's no fault of the movie. That's just the fault of the people running Warner Brothers. So number 5 is Shazam. All right, number 4. Number 4 is Batman vs. Superman, the Ultimate Edition. This movie was a lot. It was a lot. It was complicated. It was overstuffed. It didn't always make the most sense. I think that there's a large segment of the fan community that picks it apart more than they need to. I recently got into debate with this dummy on Facebook, and I don't know why I engage, but sometimes I do. And this dummy was like, he laid out all these reasons why Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman were horrible movies. And he was like, explain them. Explain that stuff. And I'm like, dude, if that's the attitude that you have going into watching a movie, then we're not compatible. Because I like to enjoy my movies. I don't go into a movie picking apart. You can pick any movie apart. And he was like, oh yeah, pick apart Shawshank Redemption. And I was like, oh, do you really want me to pick apart one of the best movies ever made? Okay. So I shared a lot of the Shawshank Redemption plot holes. And he came back and he was like, well, those aren't plot holes. And I'm like, dude, just stop. Just stop. People like that exist. People like that exist. They are going to pick it apart because they already hate it. If you just sit down and watch Batman vs. Superman and just have a good time with it, it's a fun movie. It's a fun movie with a lot going on, and it's very ambitious. Might be too ambitious for its own good, because it feels very different from most superhero movies. It deconstructs these superheroes, and it reconstructs them in a way that that might not sit with people who really, the casual moviegoer who really likes to, they really like Marvel or really like whatever, the CW shows, whatever. This isn't going to necessarily resonate with them. But I love Batman vs. Superman. The whole fight sequence, I loved it. Superman's sacrifice at the end was great. This is the best version of Batman we've ever gotten on screen. I've said this lots of times. Ben Affleck Batman is the best Batman we've ever gotten on screen. Now, he doesn't play in the best Batman movies. The best Batman movies are the Christopher Nolan movies. But this version of Batman is the best Batman we've ever had. So, Batman vs. Superman is number 4. All right, number 3. Number 3 is Wonder Woman. I love Wonder Woman. I love Wonder Woman. Such a great take on the character, and it fits right in with the Snyderverse. Fits right in with Batman vs. Superman, Man of Steel, Zack Snyder's Justice League. It fits nicely into that story. It doesn't do anything to contradict it, but the feel, the tone, the world that Wonder Woman inhabits in this feels very much like it could inhabit those movies. And I think that the No Man's Land segment in Wonder Woman is the single best moment in any DCEU movie. It is the single best segment. When she takes off her robes and climbs out of the trench, that is the single best moment in the DC cinematic universe. Just brilliant. Brilliant, inspiring, awe-inspiring. Just such a fantastic moment. Gal Gadot is Wonder Woman, and that's never more true than in this movie. Themyscira is great. They really establish what Themyscira is, and we also understand who the Amazons are and why because of this movie. Wonder Woman's great. Wonder Woman is one of the probably top 15 to 20 superhero movies ever. Might even be in the top 10. It's brilliant. All right. So that's number 3. Number two is Justice League, the Snyder Cut. And I've already put a review out on it. You can visit that review to kind of see what I think of this movie and why. But this movie's brilliant. It's epic. I mean, in every sense of the word, the Snyder Cut is epic. And I'll never understand why anybody thought the Whedon cut was better. It makes them look like idiots. Makes Whedon look like an idiot. It makes Warner Brothers look like an idiot. Because everything in the Snyder Cut is superior to the Whedon cut. Everything. And the storytelling is so superior. The action sequences, the context, the character development, the resolution, the background with Darkseid, the background with Zeus and Ares, and the battle that took place 5,000 years ago. I mean, everything about this movie is better than the Whedon cut. And not only is it better, but it's a great movie on its own right. I love the Snyder Cut. And it's my number 2. But my number 1 favorite DCEU movie, a movie that I think is a masterpiece of filmmaking, a masterpiece of the comic book genre, and an underappreciated film, is Man of Steel. Man of Steel is my favorite Superman movie. More so than Superman 78, more so than Superman 2, more so than the Donner Cut, more so than Superman Returns, definitely more so than Superman 3 or Superman 4. This was the perfect Superman movie. It put Superman in a what-if scenario. And when I say it put him in a what-if scenario, I mean it put him in a what-if this was a real world and Superman showed up. How would the world react to him? And the reality is that the world would not be like, yeah, Superman! Save me, Superman! I cheer for you! No, the world would be terrified of him. The world would be terrified of him. And the response would not be good. Even if he was there for benevolent reasons, even if he was there to help, the world would be terrified and they would view him suspiciously and they would want him gone. And Zack Snyder understood that. And Zack Snyder understood that there would be a process that Superman would have to go through to earn the trust of mankind. And that's essentially, in a lot of ways, what this movie is about. And what this trilogy is about between Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, and Justice League. Is Superman going through that process of becoming Superman and earning that trust of mankind. In Batman vs. Superman, Batman is the avatar for us. He's the avatar for mankind, not trusting Superman. And then throughout the course of these 3 movies, we see him become Superman. We see the Man of Steel become Superman. Oh, I love it. I love the Man of Steel so much. Cannot recommend it enough. If you have not seen it, please, please, please go watch it. And watch it with an open mind. Don't watch it thinking that you're going to get Richard Donner version. Because this is a different Superman. This is a Superman for today. And I've always said that the Christopher Reeve Superman was a perfect Superman for that era. The George Reeves version was the perfect Superman for that era. Henry Cavill, this version is the perfect Superman for this era. So, definitely recommend it. So that's how I would rank the DCEU. Let's recap. Number 10, the Justice League. Number 9, Wonder Woman 1984. Number 8, Suicide Squad. Number 7 is Aquaman. Number 6 is Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. Number 5 is Shazam. Number 4 is Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice, the Ultimate Edition. Number 3 is Wonder Woman. Number 2 is Justice League, the Snyder Cut. And number 1 is Man of Steel. Guys, how would you rank the DCEU? What would be your ranking for those 10 movies? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your take on it, and I'd love to have a conversation about it. While you're down there ranking your movies, make sure that you subscribe to my channel. I put out a lot of content, and I want to make sure that you're up to date with everything that I'm doing. And as always, thank you so much for joining me right here at the LQ Review, where we get to talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff that we love to talk about. Until next time, we'll see you guys later.